This project that we're doing today is one in cooperation with the Corps of Engineers Vicksburg District. This project is at Coffee Point. This is in Louisiana at around River Mile 405. This is actually our first project to do in the state of Louisiana, so we're really pleased to be here today. This project will open up a little over 3 miles of secondary channel habitat. That habitat is really important from an aquatic resource perspective. There's 3 listed species on the lower Mississippi River: the pallid sturgeon, the interior least tern, and the fat pocketbook mussel. And these side channels are important nursery areas, they're important feeding grounds, and maintaining a variety of habitats within the lower Mississippi River is really important from a restoration perspective. We maintain the river for navigation, we maintain it for flood control and flood risk management, and this is really just another way of helping to manage the river, but from the natural resource perspective. So we are truly getting holistic management. And this is also the first project that we've partnered with the Nature Conservancy on. We're really pleased to have them as part of this process and to be restoration partners. Behind me you can see a track hoe moving rock, and essentially what we're doing is taking these dikes that have been put into the river to maintain a self-scouring river, but they've actually closed off these secondary channels that are really important habitat for a variety of species. And so we're removing sections of the dike to maintain flow in that secondary channel and to maintain connectivity with the main river channel. So we're starting at this dike. This is the dike 2 in that particular dike field, and then we'll move down to dike 3 and dike 4. So we will have a continuous secondary channel once this project is completed for about 3.5 miles of habitat. The LMRCC has been working on secondary channels since 2006, and as of right now, we have about 100 miles of secondary channels that we've been able to rehabilitate through this work.
So getting these returned back to their natural condition is one of the priorities of the Nature Conservancy working in the lower Mississippi Valley. We couldn't be prouder to have great partners to do this with, and this is what we hope is the first of many that we want to embark on the next several years to help restore this great natural treasure that we have out here on the lower Mississippi River for all the plants and the wildlife and for the people that come here to recreate as well. So this project really highlights the value of great partnerships. It's a great example that can be used around the country, how working together we can really make significant differences for conservation.
The Nature Conservancy sees great value in hydrological reconnection. It benefits the whole system, everything from water quality improvements to fish passage, improved habitat for threatened and endangered species, and to be able to partner with an organization such as the Lower Mississippi River Conservation Committee to be able to bring all of those aspects together and implement those here within, on the main stem of the Mississippi River. That's something that we see as a high conservation priority.
Another great partner on this project is the U.S. Army Corps' Engineer Research and Development Center, or ERDC. And they have helped out in numerous ways on this project. One is that they have been out doing aquatic sampling for us, looking at the different fish communities and species that are in this side channel at various river stages. So it will allow us to do a comparison, pre-notching and post-notching. We've also had folks from the Coastal Hydrology Lab that have been out and have placed cameras, stationary cameras at 2 of these dikes, so we can actually watch the progress, the construction taking place, and also it allows us to tell when the secondary channel is actually connected and then disconnected with the river, and that can give us a lot of information about the type of aquatic species that are using this particular habitat and at what time. So we're going to gain some incredible knowledge from this project. It's turning out to be a great one.
At CHL, our purpose is to do research and studies to determine how these structures, dike structures in particular, are affecting the channel morphology, how it affects the side channel morphology, how these structures affect the dredging in the river, and also flow lines at flood stages. So we try to address all those different aspects. And with respect to the dike notching, a study that we have ongoing that's part of the geomorphology and potamology program was to look specifically at some dike reaches that were going to be notched So we contacted Angie Rogers with the Fish and Wildlife to discuss did they have some dike structures that were planned for notching, and we found out that Coffee Point, which is where we are today, was planned to be notched this year. So in preparation for that, we started collecting some of the older historical hydrographic surveys on the river so that we could chart the channel changes historically up to the point that we've actually notched the structure, which they're doing today. We started building the dikes in the 60s and through the 80s and 90s, and we were very successful with the dike systems in reducing maintenance dredging. As we did that, we became aware, working with the Fish and Wildlife and other resource agencies, that there was another side to the dike systems that we need to consider, and that was, if we're building these dikes and we're trapping sediment in these side channels, maybe we're losing habitat. And so we began thinking about how can we modify these structures to improve that habitat, and that's where dike notching came on. And so we began notching these structures. Now we have a much more cooperative approach to it today, and as you can see, we've got several different groups and agencies out here, the Corps of Engineers, the Nature Conservancy, the Fish and Wildlife, and they were all working together on these dike notching. As working closer, we began to understand what their agency is looking for. They understand the constraints that we, the Corps of Engineers, have. And through that process, I think we've really developed a really good program where we work closely together. And I kind of consider that a model for how we should be doing a lot of the efforts within the Corps of Engineers, and not just the Mississippi River, but in other projects throughout the country. I think working with our other agencies rather than against them is a really a way to proceed. And I think this is really a good model that should be followed elsewhere.